All right, kids, welcome to a very special Saturday matinee edition of Sports Adrenaline Las Vegas. John here, Matt here. Yeah, it's like, a 2:05 p.m. or 2:25 p.m. start time.
Good light outside.
Afternoon baseball. Want to know what you guys are doing on this Saturday? Lazy Saturday for you, I hope so, and thanks for tuning in and watching. Feel free to comment as we go along. And Matt, even though it's, it's quiet, I guess the quiet time, the off season, right? Knights aren't in action. We really only have the Aces going on right now. But there's still always a lot going on, mainly our headlines, which I'll give you the quick rundown here, right? Is an MLS stadium going to be built downtown? Is Bill Foley going to be the owner of the MLS franchise, hopeful MLS franchise? Runner Rebel schedule is out. We'll talk about Raiders OTAs. We'll talk about all the Aviator sellouts and Las Vegas Aces in the middle of its season. Will the Aces be the first major professional team to bring a championship back to Las Vegas?
Small sample size so far, but I think they're on their way.
That's maybe, right?
That's a maybe. Yeah.
All right. Well,
that's a maybe.
Thanks for tuning in. Let's kick it off here. We're going to start with our top story, and that would be what happened earlier this week, back on Wednesday. And this is a formality, right? The city of Las Vegas voted to approve unanimously to enter this kind of negotiating window with the Renaissance Group. That's the group that's going to come up with this plan. So it's a 180-day window. Essentially, in that 180 days, they're going to come up with a plan, Matt, to build a MLS facility, some commercial space, retail, all that stuff, and really revitalize downtown. And I'm not looking at this as a play for an MLS team, although that's the end game here.
Right.
I'm looking at it as a revitalization for downtown Las Vegas, which I'm completely in favor of. And if an MLS team comes, which would be a pretty big unknown, but if it comes, that would be an added bonus to me. I think a new facility downtown would still be a good thing for the community, but your quick thoughts on that?
Well, I think if the ultimate goal is to revitalize the area, then yeah, I think it's a great idea. But what suddenly turned? I mean, the original idea, and we talked to Brett Lashbrook, the owner of the LV Lights, a lot, and his idea was, let's build this thing from the ground up. Let's get the attendance going. Let's get this team on the winning track, and then we can move up. We can take this LV Lights FC team and we can move up to MLS. That was always the plan. And now it kind of seems like, you know what, this was just for fun. Let's bring an MLS team in here right now, something established, and just get going. If that's the case and it's going to bring people in and you can build a stadium down there, we've seen what stadiums have done to certain areas of downtown. I mean, you look at San Diego, Petco Park is a perfect example, just completely revitalized the Gaslamp Quarter. If that's the case and that's what works, then fine, bring them in. I don't like the idea of the Foley thing playing in the Raiders Stadium. I think that's a terrible idea because you're not going to get 65,000 people in there to watch MLS.
Right.
I just don't see it happening.
So I don't know if you guys had heard, but essentially immediately after the announcement between the city came out, then the RJ releases a story about how Bill Foley wants to bring an MLS team and he wants them to play in Raiders Stadium. And Bill Foley, a class guy. And, he said the right things in this article that if it ends up rubbing people the wrong way, he doesn't want that to happen. But, I mean, it was immediate. They immediately stole the thunder of the city of Las Vegas and what they want to do downtown. When you consider the two, I'm still all for revitalizing downtown. Now, specifically to the team, I see your point. I think they configure it, though, like they would for a UNLV game, and they're going to bring down some curtains or something. They'll limit seating and maybe just have them fill in the lower bowl and make it, 30,000 or 35,000 fans, whatever it is. But it's just interesting, the timing of the announcement and kind of that competing. It seems like Bill Foley with the nice things that he said, but like anti-Bill Foley, like he's pulling the rug out from under the city.
Well, my question is, what does putting an MLS team in that new stadium do for anybody? Other than that team being able to play in that stadium, I think the layout for soccer is it's different. When you look at the way that a soccer stadium is built, when it's built specifically for that sport, it's different than the look you get for a football team. It just has a different feel. The sight lines are different. It's generally nowhere near as high of a stadium unless you're, in Europe when those things are seating 80, 90,000 people. But it just has a different look, different feel. And I don't know that we have a need necessarily for another stadium, but if you're going to bring the MLS here, I think it would be better for them to play in their own facility. I don't like the Cashman site at all. I mean, it's fine for the lights. I think it works for that specific group, but if you're going to revitalize downtown, I don't think you start with the Cashman Field area. I think you have to move it closer to the
That's
actual
interesting. I mean, that's a
city
point.
itself.
And like I said, I guess I would just hang my hat on, you see what's happening on Fremont Street and kind of the build up there and what Tony Hsieh has done downtown. I think this is an extension of that. So while I see your point, I think a revamped downtown Cashman Center would be a good thing. And I don't know where we finally top out with these stadiums now, Matt. I mean, but the Aces are playing at Mandalay Bay. The MGM Grand is going to host Pacquiao next month. I mean, all these, and I think there's a fight coming up. Canelo's fighting tonight, isn't he?
Or Triple G's fighting
Sorry,
tonight.
Triple G. That's not in town.
You have the Sphere being built.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's not.
When is enough going to be enough?
Sports,
and I think
still.
we'll find out when it finally happens. But if you're talking about a singular entity like an MLS team, I still think they're going to draw 20,000. It may not be 20,000 a night, but you're going to get 16, 17, 18,000 to go on a Thursday night to an MLS game. I think that's an easy equation. So if they can build it and sustain it on that kind of audience, I think that's a win. Now, if this Renaissance group comes back and says we need $50 million of public funds, not going to happen.
Right.
If they need $25 million of public funds, it's not going to happen. Any public money, it won't make it happen unless you're bringing in the Raiders.
I think they've dried that well out by now.
You're right, absolutely right.
$750 million, I think they're good there. They're not going to get much more out
Let's
of that.
get your thoughts on it, everybody. And I asked at the start of the show to tell me what you're doing, and I'm sure Matt's read the comments. Tommy already came in and just said the Dodgers will choke and talk
Tommy's a Braves fan. He's just, he watched his team
stirred the
lose
pot.
for 20 years in a row, so,
That's true.
He's salty.
That's true.
He's
Yeah.
salty. It's all right, Tommy.
Glenn's watching lacrosse. Kristen, what are you up to? Thanks for tuning in. Kristen had a great question for us. With the onslaught of sports pro and semi-pro in Vegas, does anyone think that gambling and debauchery is about to take a back seat? I mean, how do you characterize this? I would just say Las Vegas is the entertainment capital of the world, and that's where we're proving our worth, right? Now it's you have so many entertainment options, plus you have the debauchery options as well. I don't think it's, I mean, granted, I'm biased because I grew up here and seeing Vegas turning into the sports capital of the world. I already think it is. What city rivals Las Vegas?
I think you just give people more things to do. You're just giving everybody more options. When you come to town now, you're not pigeonholed to one type of thing, whether it's the gambling nightlife or you're just here to see the strip and go to dinners. Now you have so many options. You can go out to Summerlin, which anybody that's been to Vegas and hasn't been off the strip doesn't really understand what Vegas is. We've talked about that a million times. Now you have a reason to leave the strip outside of going to see a local casino. You can go out to City National, go out to the Las Vegas ballpark, watch a game, maybe catch a practice for the Knights if it's during the season, and just experience more of the valley itself.
Well, and what would be your proposal getting back to the MLS stadium, right? Because now I'm thinking about Henderson has the Raiders, Summerlin has the practice facility for the Golden Knights and the Aviators. Then you have the Knights on the Strip, and you have the Raiders on the Strip. So I think the logical place for the MLS stadium would be downtown.
Yeah,
right. Just in a different site. Is that?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at downtown, I think there's space kind of near the Smith Center, on the other side of the tracks from where downtown is. There's a lot of empty areas down there that I'm sure they could develop, and I think that would, if you want to bring an area back to life, and you want to make downtown a legitimate spot to go hang out for the night, for the whole day even, I think that's where you have to start, because you want it to be walking distance. I don't know that anybody's going to be going from downtown to Cashman Field in that area, walking under the freeway, going across that area. It's even revitalizing. I mean, that's a lot of area to have to deal with. If you centralize it with downtown, I think that gives you a better option and makes it a little more accessible.
Yeah, and I'd have to go back and research, and we can do that at some point. I feel like there's some sort of issue with the land. Like, that was the land proposed for the original MLS team.
Right,
when it got completely
right?
shot down. And there's something, maybe the land and who owns the land isn't an issue, but I know that plot right downtown where Cashman Center is, the city owns that, and they can kind of do whatever they want with it. So we'll find out. Ultimate prediction, 1, does this thing get built? And 2, I want to tee that up with the scenario here, because there's currently 24 teams in the MLS. They want to get to 30, but 4 of those spots are already accounted for. Miami, Nashville are joining next year, I believe. Sacramento and St. Louis are 2 other spots, and that gets it up to 28. And then there's just kind of Vegas would be probably the 30th team to be added there if it even happens. So 1, does the team happen? And 2, does the stadium happen?
I think the team would happen before the stadium because we already have the lights here. Maybe that's still in the pipeline where hey, look at the attendance. We're consistent. They just need to get better players. They need to get this team winning, and maybe that's the avenue they want to take and bring them up to the MLS. If that's the case, then you're already here. You can kind of get that rolling. I don't think either of these proposed. Well, I mean, one of them is the Raider Stadium. I don't think they're going to go there. I don't know that this proposed stadium build is going to happen. I don't think, if I had to put my money on it, I would say no. Just looking at those renderings, I mean, that's a major undertaking what they're proposing over there. I mean, that's essentially taking out an entire development and starting over. So I would say no at this point.
Yeah, I'm just pro Vegas, and I think just revitalizing. So let's just say, that site has to be the site. I'd like to see that there, and I'd like to see that area revitalized. And like I said, downtown I think is becoming it's not a tech hub by any means, but when you have so many people moving into this community, downtown is actually a place where a lot of people are like looking to move in. The young singles, they go down there. So I feel like it would be a successful area. So I'm just pro Vegas. I think they build it. And I'm reading here, this is from The Sun, and a quote from Lois Tarkanian to kind of get a sense of where the city council is at. And it already seems like they might be more willing to approve public funding for this of some sort. She's just quoted as saying, just try not to take a whole lot of taxpayers' money, because that's going to be the big question. Try not to take a whole lot. Sounds like maybe they're willing to give some.
Maybe.
When the mayor's been so pro this for so long.
I don't think the Cashman side is the way to go. If you're going to build it somewhere else. Build it closer to downtown itself. The Cashman site, you talk about revitalizing, that's basically a residential area. There's not a lot of commercial around that area. That's residential. You can't destroy everybody's homes to revitalize an area. You've got to do it in more of a city type area. That's why I think closer to downtown itself would be better.
And maybe that's where Bill Foley kicks in, because he's getting subsidized by the city of Henderson. He got subsidized a little bit, I think, for City National Arena. Bill's getting a lot of help here. Now, granted, we love that Bill's paid the $500 million to bring the Golden Knights here.
Bill opened the floodgates.
But maybe, right? He sure did. But maybe Bill kicks in a little bit. Maybe if he wants to be part of this MLS ownership group. Just a thought here. Final thoughts on that topic? I feel like we beat it.
Is it too much? That's my
Right.
biggest question. I mean, there's a big difference between sustaining the LV Lights FC minor league team versus sustaining an MLS team where all eyes are on you. Is it too much?
I don't know. Call me wrong here, and you guys call me out if this is incorrect. I feel like I'm not a soccer fan, right? I'll go to a Lights game and I'll watch it, but I'm not into the Champions League final at all. I don't know what happened with it, and I feel like it's either you're way into soccer or you're not, right?
I'm right there with you, John.
I'm way into the Raiders and way into the Knights. I feel like it's two different fan bases, honestly. I mean, I'm sure that there's some diehard soccer fans out there that definitely will go to Raiders games and go to Knights games, but I feel like it's the anti kind of American feel, like we're like, I only follow soccer and nothing else.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's enough of a base there that it would be successful if it did come out here.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, there are plenty of soccer fans here, but again, is it sustainable?
Okay. Keep on commenting on that, want your thoughts, but we'll move on to our next topic here, Runnin' Rebel basketball. Is it under a revitalization? Let's hope so, but the schedule may dictate otherwise. So all of you out there thinking the Runnin' Rebels are just a new team and all of a sudden they're going to go 12-2 in non-conference play, you might want to stop smoking whatever it is you're smoking right now. So earlier this week, the non-conference and the conference schedule comes out, and really it's highlighted by 5 tournament teams from last year. So you have K-State, Kansas State, Cincinnati, UCLA, BYU, Cal, Southern Methodist. That's 6 teams right there, but those are the biggest names here out of the 13-game non-conference schedule. Season starts November 5th against Indiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne, IPFW, I believe, at the Thomas and Mack. But the Rebels roster is in shambles. We'll get into that right now. What do you make of the non-conference schedule? I just like that there's big names on there, right?
Yeah. Look, this team played one of the worst schedules you've ever seen for UNLV basketball last year, and they still only went 17-14. So what's the point of scheduling a cream puff schedule if you're not going to be successful anyways? I like that they're playing Cal. I like that they're playing UCLA. Finally playing UCLA. How long have we been waiting to see UNLV and UCLA play each other? There's no reason for these teams not to play.
Should be historic. Should have went back
at least every other year.
Tark and Wooden hated each other, and that should have been the start of it.
Absolutely.
Right.
It should have been. K-State, they've been here before. They played the Rebels at the Orleans, if I remember right, a handful of years ago, and pretty much stomped the Rebels. But I mean, it's good to see legitimate competition on the schedule. Now, it's a step above where UNLV is at, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 steps above where UNLV is at right now. But these are the teams you need to play to progress your organization. And this program has just been so bad lately that I don't think it really matters if you're going to get beat up by these teams early in the year, because you want to see that versus losing to nobodies,
right,
which is what they've been doing lately.
Yeah, so K-State, that's at home. That's a home game, November 9th. So here's the toughest stretch of the non-conference schedule. It's 3 games back-to-back-to-back. K-State, at Cal, and then at UCLA. That's November 9th, November 12th, November 15th. Maybe they beat Cal. I don't even know what state Cal is in, but out of those 3 games, maybe that's the one that they can
My
take.
question is with what, though? Everybody's so high on this team because Otzelberger comes in and he starts bringing his own guys in and recruiting the way that he's recruiting, and that's been great. But you're still going to have a very young team, and the holdovers were on a team the last couple of years that was not very good. Let's be honest. These guys, it's not like they were being heavily recruited by some of the best teams in the nation, and UNLV just got a hold of them, and now they're going to be world beaters. It's not the case. I think you're going to see Hardy play a lot better. Hopefully you see the big men in the middle play better, Jung and who am I missing?
Chekna
Dembele.
Yeah.
But it's still the same guys. And they're missing their top scorers on top of that. Robotham's gone. Joel Tombway's gone. Chris Clyburn's gone. I mean, these are some of your better players, and they're all gone. So I don't know what everybody's it's exciting to see the schedule. I think that's great. But as far as wins and losses go, it's going to be a rough season. The next year will be good, I think. I think that they'll be competitive that second year. But Otzelberger's first year is going to be rough, guys.
Yeah,
just prepare for
before I kind of chime in on the roster, let's talk about TJO, TJ Otzelberger. I like that nickname, TJO. That works. Yeah. Coach TJO.
All right.
But I like that he's, at least what you see is that he's kind of just approaching this thing head on when you look at the schedule and looking out and going out, and obviously, you need to be aggressive in recruiting. I don't think there's a coach out there that's not aggressive in recruiting. I get that. But it feels like it's just, he's kind of taking this thing over, and it's going to take him some time, clearly. Second year, you're going to have a much better roster than this first year. But I just like that it's kind of this no-fear attitude and not coming in with any sort of preconceived, like, okay, we've got to get the Runner Rebels back to what it was in 1990, 91. Like, I don't get that vibe from him. I just get this is a hardworking coach that's going to do what he needs to do to come in and win, and that's really it. So I like what he's doing. The caravan's a cool thing. I haven't seen a coach go out and do that for the last 2 weeks. He's been just stopping, meeting community members and going to bars and going to rec centers to meet with the community, meet with the kids. So you see kind of the energy there, and he's not afraid to go out and put his face in front of the community, knowing the Rebel basketball is really, the perception of it is in the dumps right now.
Well, he's not trying to be 1991. He knows he's not Tark. He knows he doesn't have those players. But that's where his influence stems from when it comes to his experience with UNLV, and he's talked about that a lot. He was a UNLV fan, like a lot of people in the country were, even though he was back in the Midwest. He loved those early teams with Ogman and Johnson and Anthony and Hunt and all those great guys, the national championship team. That's his understanding of what UNLV basketball should be. He's not going to go out and be that right away, and he may never be that. But he's going to schedule like it's still UNLV, and that's what I like about it. He's gone out and gone, okay, look, K-State, Cal, UCLA. These are teams that a team with the name like UNLV should be playing against. And I like that he's taking that approach. Will he be successful with that approach? Will he eventually be a 25, 27, 29 win team and go to the NCAA consistently and win the Mountain West every year? That's yet to be determined. But I like that he's taken the approach of, hey, UNLV is still a name. UNLV still has clout. We're going to schedule big names, and maybe they surprise a couple people.
I feel like he's the kind of guy, too, that if he is able to achieve that level of success, maybe he doesn't leave. Unless it's a Lon Kruger.
I hope not, but
unless it's a Kruger scenario where it's too much money and he has to go, right, doubling his salary.
Well, maybe by then we have a football program that's actually generating revenue and could, help pay for a coach
That would
like
be
that.
nice, right? Glenn says bring in Nova. Of course you would, Glenn. Villanova. There's the Jay Wright connection.
Yeah, why not?
So why wouldn't that
I
happen?
wouldn't be surprised if he hasn't already talked to him.
Yeah, those phone calls should be taking
Yeah.
place, unlike the phone calls that didn't go to Cole Anthony.
Yeah,
Sorry,
man.
old regime. But my opinion on the roster, right, and it's pretty apparent it's a guard play is going to be the key here in the upcoming season, because that's really where the only talent lies. You have Amari Hardy, you have Bryce Hamilton, and you have Jonah Antonio, who can shoot. So, I mean, it's really on the backs of those three, in my opinion. There's the other, Mitru Long is the other transfer that came in, I think. Can't remember where he came in, but he's the new guy. And then front court, Nick Blair, and the grad transfer from Arizona State, Scheibel. I think that's how you say his name, but those are really the two in the front court, along with Dembele if he progresses, and then David Jenkins and Moses Wood. Those are the two sit-outs, right? And Jenkins, of course, is the guy that hopefully
Jenkins is the guy
will
that
be
we
the
want to
world
see
changer.
next season be, the guy. It's again, it's not. This isn't Marvin Menzies year one. This isn't going to be one of the worst teams in college basketball. They're going to be a competitive team. I think they'll be able to stay in some games. The Mountain West is not going to be good again this year. Reno's obviously going to take a step back. New Mexico doesn't look like they're going to be very good. Utah State probably going to take a little bit of a step back, but still maybe be the best team in the league. But it's not a great league overall. So maybe they stay competitive. Maybe they're middle of the road. Maybe a couple things bounce their way in conference and they can move up towards the top. But it's not going to be Menzies' first year with this team. Would they have 10 wins that year, if I remember right?
11.
11, yeah. We're not
11.
looking at that. This is going to be a better team. And honestly, I think it's going to be a much better coached team, because we just did not see good coaching for 3 seasons.
Back to the comments. Martin Rodriguez, I think he's new. We haven't gotten a comment from you, Martin. Thanks for tuning in. MLS to Vegas, so excited if it happens. Again, I just feel like there's so much of that attitude. I feel people will show up. Now, where they play is another story for sure. Kristen, going back to what, maybe too many people are expecting, but back to the glory days of yore. Reb's always a favorite for me, and that's true, but I think this upcoming year, and this will be my last point, right, we know that maybe this team, unless they surprise a lot of people, is going to be a middle of the road. They were 17-14 last year, something similar this upcoming year. This is when you bear down and you get people back in the MAC, whether it's free tickets or really cheap tickets, because I'm sick of seeing 6,000 or 7,000 people in the MAC.
I don't even know if they were that high.
Right.
Let's be honest. There were some games this season where 4,500 was probably the number.
And it's a no-brainer. You put people in the stands, you give them a great fan experience so that when this team comes around, you already have kind of that excitement.
Well, you know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
You're going to get more exciting brand of basketball this season.
Right.
Again, we talked about the coaching. It was sketchy. Otzelberger's going to have a much faster team on the floor, a team that wants to shoot threes, a team that likes to get out in transition. This will be a more exciting brand. Win or lose, you're going to have more fun watching this team than you have the last 3 seasons. I think that's at least a positive, right?
Yeah, we'll see. Winning isn't ever, as I learned in my sports marketing graduate class that I just finished on Friday, that was yesterday, winning is not a strategy. So UNLV marketing and everybody over there, don't count on winning. At least, everybody prays for that, and it's a great thing, but this first year, while winning may not be expected, that's when you kind of revamp everything that happens around the game and get people.
Let me ask you a question, John. You talked about the atmosphere in there, and we mentioned better brand of basketball. What about game day production with UNLV basketball?
That's what I'm talking about.
I feel like at one time that was maybe the best in college basketball, right? The atmosphere was incredible, and when you have 18,500 people in there, it's easy to create that kind of atmosphere. But it felt like they used to do a lot more during the game to engage with the fans, and now it's just kind of, here's our mediocre light show that we've been doing for a long time that we haven't really played with other than for a couple of minutes, and here's our basketball team and our band playing the same 5 songs they've been playing since the 70s. I think they need to step that aspect of game day experience up a lot to bring people in.
Yeah, I hear you. And that goes back to traditions. What are the traditions? What brings people in the door? And if you were to look at tradition, like at a basketball game, the fireworks show, which is great, right? One of the only ones in the country. You build around that, and you start with some high energy, high intensity, and then you look at even bigger picture, the event at Texas A&M, and this is a broad example, but Midnight Madness or what they pack Kyle Field, and they have 100,000 people chanting the same thing. It's like it's really that when I talk about not liking soccer, but the fan experience is second to none when you have 90,000 people chanting and yelling, and I'm not saying that happens overnight, but that's the kind of engagement that you need.
How does a team or a city known for being 24/7?
Right.
How does this university not embrace that with a Midnight Madness type thing? I mean, even the Wranglers, minor league hockey, were doing that, and it was great. Those turnouts were amazing.
Yeah. You do it even if the fans don't show up initially, and you set the tone.
Yeah, there you go.
Again, that's my amateur marketing. All right, so let's take a quick break. Word from our sponsor here, Rich Giacovino, Michael Westra.
In life, just like in football, you need good hands to score. The Michael Westra Allstate Agency will carry you to success for every insurance need. Auto, business, home, life. Michael will personally see you get the best rates, and our full-service staff at 702-435-4211 will walk you through any claim, not refer you to an 800 number. For over 15 years, Michael has served charities in Las Vegas. He's ready to serve you at 702-435-4211, 702-435-4211.
Michael's a great guy. That's why we love having him on board as a sponsor. So keep putting his name out there. If you ever have an insurance need, follow up with one of us or just call Michael directly, and he'll take care of you. Now we're moving on to Las Vegas Aces news. What I said at the top of the show, is this the first major professional team to bring a championship back to Las Vegas? Certainly all the hype was there when you have Liz Cambage coming in. You have Asia Wilson, you have Kelsey Plum, you have Kayla McBride, you have all these number one picks that Matt is going to focus on. He got some interviews for us. At the start, all the hype was there. You win game one against LA, and then you lose back-to-back games, and then all of a sudden it feels like the steam was let out of all that talk. But certainly we know this is a very good team, even though it's 2-2 right now.
Well, they lost 2 games in a row, but those were the first 2 that Liz Cambage was back into the lineup. She missed the first game dealing with an Achilles. Is that right?
Right.
Achilles injury. The problem is they limited her minutes. She was only, I think, 14 minutes was where she was topping out. So you had a deal where you're trying to work somebody back into the game, but only in small sample sizes. So I don't know that anybody was really able to get into a flow. And even the Phoenix game, they only lost by 2. And really, I mean, Asia had a point-blank putback attempt there at the end of the game and should have tied it and gone overtime, and unfortunately didn't. But, 2-point loss there and then a 6-point loss in the next game. And now Liz is back in playing full-time. And you saw what this team can be. They went to Atlanta the other day and completely destroyed them. Wire-to-wire win. Would they win by 25, I believe?
92-69, so 23 points?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to start to see this team gel a little bit. You're going to start to see, Jackie Young, the number 1 overall pick this year. Maybe she can start to get a little more acclimated. Those assist numbers are starting to come up. I think this team is super talented. You add somebody like Liz Cambage, who was a leading scorer last year and runner-up in the MVP vote, to a roster that already has Asia Wilson and Kayla McBride and Kelsey Plum. I mean, this is set up to be a pretty good team, and I don't think that predicting a championship is kind of out of left field. I think that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, and I'm curious, anybody out there, have you been to an Aces game? What do you think of that atmosphere? Speaking about in-game experience, would love to kind of get your thoughts on that. Or if you haven't gone to a WNBA game, go ahead and tell us why. If you hate the game, go ahead. We'd like to know about that. If you're just thinking women's basketball, because we hear that all the time. But really, it's a fun, exciting team to watch. Again, all the number 1 picks, and the talent is there. So there's no question about that. Sorry, I clicked on a different page. I want to find when the next home game is. We'll pull that up.
Next Friday.
I believe
it's next Friday.
I wanted to talk about scoring, right? When you talk about talent, Asia Wilson, 15.5 a game. Kayla McBride, 15.3 a game. Cambage, 14 a game. De'Erica Hamby, 11.8 a game. Kelsey Plum, 8 points a game. Jackie Young, that's the number 1 pick. She only is averaging 5.5 points a game. Hopefully that will come along. But you have 4 scorers averaging double figures, which in the WNBA is pretty solid. If they play a shorter game, it's 4 10-minute quarters, so getting 15 points is like 19 or 20 in the NBA, some sort of correlation there. But the talent is there, and speaking of talent, a lot of number 1 picks, and you talk to them all after the season opener.
Yeah, really, really unusual situation. You have a team here that for 3 straight seasons has gotten the number 1 overall pick, and this is done like the NBA where there is a draft lottery. It's not like football where you're the worst team in the league, you get the number 1 overall pick. And even that, we haven't seen 3 teams in a row, or 3 teams pick first overall 3 years in a row. So the last 3 seasons, you had Kelsey Plum, number 1 overall pick. This is when they were still in San Antonio as the Stars before they came to Vegas. Following season, Asia Wilson, and now this season, Jackie Young. It's a really neat dynamic to have to deal with, I think, and I wanted to ask the girls about that because this isn't something you see anywhere, and that's actually something I said to them. How are they dealing with it? How are they leaning on each other? How does each one learn from the previous, and how are they able to kind of show them the ropes? I think I talked to Asia first about it. We'll go to her and hear what she has to say about it.
Talk about Jackie Young being the number 1 overall pick, which is where you were at last year, and then 2 years ago it was Kelsey. So 3 in a row, number 1 overall pick. You don't see that really anywhere in any sport to have 3 in a row in succession like that. How are you helping her come along in the way that Kelsey was able to help you come along?
Yeah, just being that big sister, that's been in that role, that's been in that position, that's had those expectations of, is she going to transition, can she transition, and really just making sure that she's comfortable. When she's comfortable, then she's the Jackie Young that we drafted, then she's the person that we need to see. So my biggest thing is always being in her ear. I'll probably bug her 1,000 times, but KP bugged the living crap out of me. So that's what I want to do. I want to make her comfortable, know that she's not in alone.
So I asked Asia just now the same question. You were in her position 2 years ago, Asia being number 1 overall pick last year, now Jackie in that position. How did you help Asia, and now how are the two of you able to help her off the court just to get acclimated? No matter what sport you're in, it's a different game when you make that jump from college to pro. So how were you able to help her along?
I didn't do a thing for Asia. Asia handled that.
That's not what she said.
She's being really sweet. Jackie's going to be great. Jackie's come from Notre Dame's, obviously one of the best programs in the country. She knows how to win. She knows how to play. She's a great teammate. I'm really impressed how poised she is and just the way she learns things, how quickly she picks things up. She's super talented, and, you're going to figure stuff out as you go in this league. It's really experience. One play to the next, you just got to keep learning and getting better, but I just tell her good job, keep doing your thing. I'm not here to be, whatever.
Thanks. Off the bat, got to ask you, how'd you feel about your first regular season experience in the WNBA?
Yeah, we're just really trying to go out there and get our first win. I think we played really great as a team, and we're able to just come out and execute.
You guys are in a really unique position in that 3 years in a row you've had the number 1 overall pick. I asked Asia, I asked Kelsey about it because they've been in your position. How are you leaning on the two of them, and what do you think you can gain knowledge-wise from leaning on those two?
Yeah, they've definitely given me a lot of advice just about being the number 1 pick, what to expect. So they just helped me a lot just early on, and they've definitely been someone that I could lean on, just talk to about anything that I needed. And they're just really helping me on the court, helping me outside of basketball, and just really being there for me.
How was the game, the pace of game different from, any league that you're in, you make that jump from college to pro, it's going to be a different game. How did you feel that the game went today?
Yeah, the pace is a lot faster than college. I thought college was fast, but the league is definitely a lot faster. But we've gone through training camp, and so we're able to adjust to the pace of the game and the speed of the game, and just really trying to figure things out on defense, just making sure spreading the floor each time, just trying to execute the offense every possession.
Thanks, sir.
So you talk about
Back-to-back number 1 picks.
Yeah.
The talent's there. I thought Kayla McBride was a number 1 pick, or was she not?
No, Kayla was number 4, okay. I think she was number 4 overall.
But not a number 1, but still, again, the
rest of
is there.
She's good enough.
Great comment from Doris. There's another new viewer, which, again, we recognize a lot of your names, but some we clearly don't, especially if you haven't commented. And feel free, again, to comment, give us your thoughts on anything. My wardrobe, again, repping the Raiders today, and Matt not repping anybody today. You can give him crap about that.
No, but I brought all the hats.
Where's your Dodger blue hat?
I brought all the hats,
Where's your Dodger blue hat?
Dodgers are not a Las Vegas team,
You
John.
You want to know what?
The Dodgers want to move to Vegas, by the way. Let's go. Let's knock down the Rio and build the stadium. We're good with that.
How about those Raptors? I guess while we're talking basketball, I want to bring it up really quick, but you've been watching the finals. Officiating's terrible, right?
I don't know if watching the finals is accurate. I pay enough attention to know what's going on, but I struggle to watch the NBA.
Is Kawhi Leonard the best player in the NBA? I guess
know.
not the best player, but maybe he's the biggest
one of.
analyst.
He's top 5, top 10 player.
Yeah.
Pat McCaw. You want to keep it relevant to Vegas? Pat McCaw who didn't re-sign with the Warriors after his first 2 seasons in the NBA, goes on to Toronto and now has a 3-1 lead in the finals yet again. Apparently, Pat McCaw is the lucky charm in the NBA right now.
Yeah, congrats to you Raptors fans, if there's any here in Las Vegas, on the cusp of winning the NBA championship. Me, I'm a Bulls fan, so I haven't watched basketball in a decade.
I haven't
Derrick
watched
Rose
since
on the Bulls.
98.
07, 09,
Since
he was
Jordan
MVP?
left.
Yeah, another great point. That's my boy. Doris, sorry, I don't think I read her comment. This
did
Aces
not.
team has a future. She just commented again. This Aces team has a future. Fans since the team started from San Antonio, and it wasn't very good in San Antonio. So now they're here in Vegas, rightfully so. San Antonio, though, is a great sports city. I visited there once when I worked in Texas for a little while. Great city, great people out there. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for them. Their loss is our benefit for sure.
Yes.
So moving on. Let's talk about our friends from HaulIt.com, Matt.
Let's. HaulIt. I love the idea, man. I've said it before. It's Uber for moving. You need to move a couch. You need to move a room. You need to move your whole house. And you don't have a truck. You don't have a buddy who has a truck. HaulIt is your buddy. Call them up. Go on the app. Real simple. Go on the app. If you need a truck, if you want to use your truck to help somebody move, get on the app. Find what you need. They have different size trucks. They'll basically bid the job for you. It's all right in front of you. You send them
Customize it.
pictures. Yeah, exactly. Send them pictures of what you needed moved, where you need to move it to, whether or not you're going up and down flights of stairs, and they'll throw you a bid and come out and help you move it, man. Great idea, great job they do. Keep building, man. I like it. I think it's an amazing tool.
That is HAWLIT.com. A guy named Matt. Matt runs it, not this Matt, but another Matt.
Not this Matt, another Matt.
Great
Lots
guy.
of Matts out there.
Again, happy to have him as one of our sponsors. All right, let's get back to Golden Knights news. Even though they're not playing, and yeah, we know the NHL Finals is almost coming to a close here, but
But the Sharks aren't in it, so we're okay with that, right?
Amen to that. I mean, how many calls can you get in a series? Yeah, we haven't really talked about hockey since the Knights got knocked out, and I know we could go down a wormhole about San Jose, but you're right, they got knocked out. So I guess if they were still in it, we'd be probably.
I think the
complaining
entire
and
city would be
moaning. Yeah.
blanketed in salt right now
yes.
if the Sharks were still
Yes.
playing.
Okay, so it's a topic that people are talking about all over the place because there's nothing really else to talk about right now. Free agency starts July 1. Who's staying? Who's going? There's a lot of Golden Knights here on the table. I believe it's 8 total. Hold on, let me pull up the numbers. 8 free agents, and they're over the cap already. That's going to change right when you pull David Clarkson's $5 million off the books, so then that frees up some money already. Again, David Clarkson, if you're not even familiar with him, he's been on the roster since day one,
right.
And he's just been hurt. I think he's coaching high school hockey somewhere and getting paid $5 million from the Golden Knights to do that.
Yeah, it's a good
so
gig.
Once I guess it's July 1 or whenever it is that the season starts, his $5 million will get pulled off the books because he's on long-term injured reserve. But outside of that, a lot of question marks. Let me pull up the sheet, on capfriendly.com and go over all the names. And feel free to chime in. Who stays, who goes? William Karlsson, restricted free agent. Brandon Peary, unrestricted free agent. Ryan Carpenter, unrestricted free agent. Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, unrestricted free agent. Gusev, restricted. Tomas Nosek, who maybe I knew, but I didn't know until looking at this again. He's a restricted free agent. Derek England is unrestricted. He's the only defenseman that's a free agent. So there's a logjam there right now. And then Malcolm Subban is a restricted free agent. Is that 8? That's 6, 7, 8. It sure is. So that's 8 players right there. You're not going to be able to sign all those when you have no salary cap room here. So at face value, Matt, and you're talking about the addition, now he is on the books, but Eric Haula coming back from injury. Who out of that group do you just immediately say is not coming back next year?
I think Tomas Nosek jumps out at me first. I think that's a name that there's not enough room for him. I mean, he's a guy that was in and out of the lineup. He's a healthy scratch a lot of the time. When he does play, it's generally on that 4th line to either fill in for an injured Carrier, maybe give Reaves a break. Sometimes he jumps up to the 3rd. I think he played all over a lot this year, but 3rd and 4th line generally where he's at. I think that's the first name on that list that I would say absolutely he's gone.
He's arbitration eligible, I think when you look at the numbers, right, restricted free agency gives some benefits to the team. So maybe not him initially, but I look at I've been a fan of him since day one. Brandon Peary, probably gone.
Yeah.
I mean, unless he puts more pucks in the net and he's a top 6 forward, which on this team is going to be a pretty hard thing to do now because the top 6 is pretty much set. You can't have a scorer like that playing on the 4th line. I mean, there's just no no way that would work. So Peary
doesn't even fit the fourth line, though, because he doesn't play defense.
That's exactly what I mean.
And the fourth line shuts everybody down as far as allowing goals. I mean, they're one of the best in the league at doing that. There's no way you could put Peary on that line.
They're going to, again, they've got to make some moves here. So Peary gone. Ryan Carpenter has a chance to stay, but not necessarily if they keep Nozick. I think it's between Nozick and Carpenter out of those two. But again, Nozick is restricted.
I don't know. I mean, you talk about Carpenter. Eric Howlett's coming back.
You love Carpenter.
No. I don't love Carpenter. I preferred him over Peary. There's a difference. Eric Howlett's coming back. Okay, that's a big one. Nikita Gusev will be on this club. You have Cody Glass potentially making his way from the Wolves up to the big club this season. Is Belmar coming back?
That's the guy I would want back, right?
I would love to see Belmar back. I think he captains that fourth line really well, but he wants a long-term deal. He talked about it in locker cleanout day. He doesn't want to be a year-to-year guy. He knows what his value is. He loves playing in Vegas. He's made Vegas his home. He has said unequivocally he wants to stay here, but he also knows his value, and he knows that he is not a year-to-year guy. He wants a deal. Now, he doesn't want a James Neal 5-year, $25 million deal. That's not what Belmar's looking for. He understands what type of player he is, but he does want some security. He wants to be in one place for a long amount of time. So hopefully they can come to an agreement and we get Belmar back. But I don't know, man. That's a tough one. But I think Carpenter may get squeezed if you get Belmar back and you bring Glass up and Hal is healthy and Gusev is there. I mean, that's four forwards right there that are fighting for two spots, because you're already going to have Alex Tuck up there. You have Ryan Reaves. You have Will Carrier. You have Cody Eakin. There's a lot going on there.
Well, sorry, I'm getting distracted by Ronnie Hoffman back on. Peary's gone. I am with Ron. Even though I'm a huge Peary fan, there's just too much talent on this team now.
Yeah.
I mean, like if you look at keeping Peary or Gusev, clearly it's going to be Gusev. So we know Gusev is coming back because the kid didn't even play at all.
No.
And then who's the defenseman? Schultz, that they signed out of college and played once at the end of the regular season and didn't. What's the kid's name?
Yeah,
I don't even know. I know who you're talking about.
Schultz, right?
Schultz.
Yeah, you're right.
Great. It's the off season for us as well.
Yeah. But you have Nick Hague. You have White Cloud.
Right.
You've got guys coming up. Derek England.
Yeah,
probably gone.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand the ambassador role that England
he wants
has
to play,
played
though.
since
He
day
wants to
one,
play.
and he wants to play. Of course he does. But is he still a viable option on defense? I think you have to consider Derek England more of a liability at this point. He's great on the PK for the most part, but he just doesn't give you as much defensively as some of these other kids coming up can give you. I mean, he's 37 years old now? Younger than us, but still on the decline as far as a professional athlete goes. So I don't know that Derek England comes back either.
Yeah, and then question here, Malcolm Subban. Again, he's restricted, so the Knights clearly have rights to him to stay. But do you kind of maybe save a little bit with him if he gets a little bit more over the minimum and he makes 1.25 or 1.3 million? And do you bring back Dansk? Or,
I guess that exactly.
Yep.
That depends on how much faith you have in Dansk and Legacy coming up. Whether or not those guys are going to be the heir apparent once Fleury is finally done, or if they really believe in Malcolm Subban and he's going to be the guy. We'll have to wait and see what the pros in that department feel about those three goalies.
And it seems like no matter what, the Golden Knights are going to have to make a trade of some sort, right? And they've got to have enough space to sign some of these guys, right? Gusev is going to command, $3 million a year, somewhere in that ballpark. Again, if you keep Nosek, that's 1.5. William Karlsson, clearly, again, he's restricted, so he can go to arbitration, or they can, again, sign him to another one-year short-term deal, or they can go longer-term with him. Either way, no matter what happens here with who stays and who goes, salary's going to need to come off the books.
I wouldn't be surprised if Colin Miller gets traded. His name keeps getting floated around out there.
$3.875 million for next season.
Yeah, Colin Miller, he's a solid defenseman. He's one of the best skaters, if not the best skater on that team. He's got what seems like a 500-mile-an-hour slap shot from the point. I mean, the kid has talent, but again, we're talking about salary cap numbers. We're talking about logjam in certain positions with all of these young kids coming up. Let's not forget, Chicago Wolves are playing in the Calder Cup final right now. against who are they playing? It's Carolina's.
Checkers.
Carolina's farm team, right?
Yeah, whatever that's their nickname.
Yeah. So this is a talented organization. It's not just the Golden Knights in the NHL that have all the talent. Obviously, their minor league system is filled with talent, and you're seeing what they're doing. Now they're down 3-1. They play tonight at 5 o'clock. Hopefully they can turn it around. And wouldn't it be weird if they lost 4-1 as well, like the Knights did last year? After winning the first game, go on and lose 4 straight. But in any case, you have a talented organization top to bottom. There's depth in this organization. So you're going to have to move pieces around. And if a guy's salary doesn't fit, then he's the guy that's got to go. That's part of the business. It's unfortunate, but that's part of the business.
Yeah, and it's great for those young guys like Nick Hague and like White Cloud, the players on the Chicago roster. Kelly McCrimmon telling the Chicago Sun-Times, I just read an article before we came on. I mean, it's huge for these guys to get playoff experience. Yeah. So you got to think that, again, somebody just commented and said Glass maybe isn't ready, and Glass is one of those guys. He's going to be at camp until the end of camp, right? Ron says Glass not this year. But maybe, this playoff experience is going to help some of these guys. Carpenter needs to go, says Ron. Merrill needs to go, says Tiffany, because of the mustache. He has to shave his face. There is a John Merrill's mustache Twitter account, so get on there. I think it's Merrill Stash. Look that up. Great account to follow.
Are we still calling William Karlsson B- player, Ron? Really?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man.
All around.
Maybe
A- player, right?
What? Second, third best player on the team?
Correct.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, correct. So he's staying. It's just they got to find a way to make that deal. And then
you got to move pieces around.
Somebody was, and this gets me upset. So I heard, just rumor, I'm one of those blogs out there, but I read it like a schmo. Chance that Marchessault gets traded?
Why not?
No,
I don't want to see him go either.
Jersey.
But
I got his jersey.
That's, you know what? I
know
learned
that's
a long
not a
time
factor
ago,
for
stop
you.
buying player jerseys because they get moved. I have 2 Khalil Mack jerseys.
I got his because he was signed for 5 years. I'm like, all right, well, if he leaves after 5 years, we're good. You don't trade that guy. That's spark plug.
Do you trade a Khalil Mack?
Jonathan Marchessault, what a spark plug he is. But he doesn't command the salary that Mark Stone does, right?
But Stone is 10 times the player Marchessault is. Let's be honest.
All right, so
Marchessault's making, what, 5 a year?
Yeah.
It's not like he has a small contract.
5 for the next 5.
And here's the question, what can you get in place of Marchessault? What do you get to replace him? Where's his trade value?
The smallest guy on the ice fighting the biggest guys in the other teams. You can't find that anywhere else.
I don't want to see him go either, but it doesn't mean he can't be traded. Anybody can be traded, man.
Well, I'm not okay with that. But we do know that certainly it's a playoff team coming back here. It'll be, I guess, defense is where you can take out England and essentially Colin Miller. You get rid of those 2 guys, and you feel like you have 2 people that can plug in right away, White Cloud and Hague, or I think there's another defense, Schultz.
Yeah.
Shoot, we'll look that up. I can't remember his name off the top, but they've got 3 potential defensemen to fill that hole. So you feel like that there's enough talent underneath, and if Cody Glass comes up and plays third-line center, for example, if they get rid of a Cody Eakin who had a monster season last year, you feel like there's enough pieces there.
Jimmy Schultz.
Thank you. It was Schultz. Yeah, we got it right. That there's going to be enough talent on the roster to make it work. Ron says Riley Smith's overpaid. Don't say that. Marshy says Tiffany, B- player, 3 teams, 4 years. He would be on the second line on most NHL teams.
That doesn't make you a B- player because Mark Stone and Max Pacioretty are on the second line of this team.
Yeah, and he's on the second line of this team.
That's irrelevant.
We know who the top line is.
If you're
on
a
the
top
Golden
6
Knights.
guy, it's irrelevant whether you're top or second line. It's one and the same. I mean, Karlsson, I don't know. I'm not even going to. It's not a B- player.
Yeah, but camp will be fun. So I think, did they announce the dates? I think they announced the dates for rookie camp. It's at the end of June. Rookie camp is going to start, and they'll come in here at City National Arena. But October can't get here fast enough, I feel like. So whatever team ends up with, we're gonna see some guys that we're gonna be sad to see go.
Yeah.
I think Belmar will be tremendously sad if he leaves because he's just a great locker room presence. And NHL, I've been in plenty of locker rooms to know, the guys in the NHL, fun to talk to. I mean, that vibe, NBA is the worst. NBA locker rooms are the worst. could give you stories about that, but it's just the vibe is so bad with the media, at least my experience is, versus an NHL locker room where guys are really open and willing, and Belmar was one of those guys, so we'd miss his character. If
one of the best guys in the locker room to talk to
again,
easily.
he could be an anchor of that fourth line. There's no question about that, so whether he stays or goes, I could see.
Again, it all comes down to, are they going to give him enough years? I don't even know that the money is going to be an issue because he understands his value again, but are they going to be willing to give him enough years? We'll see.
Ron, another jab. So Ron's jabbed at every Golden Knights player. Will Alex Tuck ever hit anyone?
You know what? I actually agree with Ron on this
Holy
one.
cow, Ronnie, you're winning Matt over.
World's coming to an end. Tuck needs to get more physical. He's a big body. Kid's what, 6'3", 6'4". I say kid because he's still a kid. He's
nice
only
guy.
what, 22
he
years
doesn't
old.
Have a mean streak in him.
He doesn't. He's so chill when you talk to him in that locker room, and it's just kind of his demeanor more often than not. There were moments late in the season where you saw a little bit of that fire come out of him, and I think if we can get more from Tuck, more of that from Tuck, you're going to see a really dominant player, especially if he's down on that third line with, let's just say, with Cody Eakin and Eric Howla. I mean, that's a scary line to be a third line.
Tuck signed for the next 7. Yeah, he's under contract for 7.
All the young kids.
Marcia Show's in for 5.
Theodore, he's not going anywhere.
Riley Smith in for 3. Stasny in for 2. Pacioretty in for the next 4. I didn't know Pacioretty was 4
Stone
more
is signed
years.
until I think 2040 or something
20,
like that.
yeah, 2020. Oh yeah, I get. Well, that's 7 on the page here, and then plus another couple years beyond that.
Yeah.
Nate Schmidt's locked up. Shea Theodore's locked up. Again, Colin Miller. That's the number that stands out. Where's Eakin? Eakin might be a contract. Right. He's got 1 year left at $3.85 million. That could be a trade deadline trade piece for the Golden Knights, possibly. Ryan Reaves $2.275. But let's have that conversation. Is Reaves a guy that could potentially get traded? I mean, it's almost $3 million.
I don't know. I don't think at this point you trade a guy like Reaves. When he first came in, he tried to do too much. He tried to be the ultimate enforcer and took bad penalties. And then I think he watched a little bit of the way Carrier played. And when he came back into the playoffs in the Shark Series, as a matter of fact, last season, you saw him settle into his role and then really filled that role out well this year. I think he's an important piece on this team, both locker room, ice presence. He's not going to give you much offensively. What do you have? 10 goals this year?
Well, I know
Career
it's high, 11 maybe.
Yeah, somewhere in there. But he's a great presence on the ice. I think he keeps things under control for the most part and puts other teams in check. And he's a good guy to have around. So I would be surprised if they wanted to move a guy like that at any point in the season. I mean, do they re-sign him when his contract's up? Probably not, but I don't think they try to move him.
Yeah. Worth the argument's sake. And then Valentin Zykov, he's signed for this year. I guess that's the
name. I forgot all about Zykov. There's another name, yeah.
Yep, so be interesting to see if he stays or goes. Okay, let's close the book on the Knights. Please keep on. You guys can chime in and chat. We've got a couple more stories. Raiders, Aviators, Raiders, OTAs, draft picks come in. They don't do anything, right? They stand around in shorts, and you don't really learn anything.
Never. This time of year is funny because you you get a lot of people out there that go, man, quarterback looks terrible. He couldn't hit anybody in stride, this and that, or running backs look slow, or maybe the exact opposite. These guys are lightning quick and watch out. This is just exactly what it is. It's organized team activities. It's a way to get these guys out here because the way the NFL is structured now, the way that the agreement is they can't just go out and have practices. They have to have these little individual workouts scheduled, and there's only so many that they can do, and only for such a small period of time. You can only be in pads for so long during the season in practices. All these weird little things. So to have organized team activities is basically, look, come out, meet your teammates, get acclimated to these guys, get some workouts in.
Go to dinner.
Right. That's essentially what you're looking at. Here's some offense we're going to install. Here's some defense we're going to install, and that's kind of what you're looking at right now. You can't read into anything going on the field. Yeah, Antonio Brown looks great out there with Derek Carr. They're in shorts. Nothing matters right now when it comes to that.
I've got a beef here, right? Preseason schedule's announced. The Raiders are playing outside of Oakland and outside of the away teams, but they're going to Winnipeg, Matt, to play a preseason game. And I know you called this, but Why is that preseason game not in Las Vegas?
3 months ago, maybe, we talked about this.
Why is it not in Las Vegas? Why are they going to Winnipeg?
Because they're not coming to Vegas until they come to Vegas. What's the point? What's the point of coming to Vegas before they actually get to Vegas? Yeah, it would have been great. It would have been fun to watch. The NFL won't let them call themselves Vegas. The NFL won't let them sell Las Vegas Raiders merchandise. The NFL pretends like they're not moving to Vegas until they actually move to Vegas as far as marketing is concerned. So why bring them to Vegas for a preseason game? They want to play their first game here in their brand new, beautiful stadium. The last place they want to play is that dump over off of Russell Road called Sam Boyd. They do not want to play there.
They were looking into bringing a preseason game here,
and
though.
then they looked
Mark
at
Davis,
it and
right?
they went,
I think
no.
the NFL said no way, right? NFL just said no, not until you're actually in Vegas.
Look, they play in the Coliseum and they said no to Sam Boyd. What does that tell you about Sam
Stop.
Boyd? Come on. It's a
stadium
bad stadium.
Stadium looks beautiful, isn't it? It's going up and it's sprouting like a weed.
It's amazing. Yeah, they've got all those. They've got all the roof trusses up now. I think they're just about done with them, if they're not already. But you can see the shape now. The bowl is there. You can see how the overhang is going to be. They'll put that nice transparent canopy over the top. You'll get the beautiful natural light coming through, but it's going to be temperature controlled. This is going to be fun. This stadium is going to be amazing.
Comments back to Knights. Ricardo saying, can't get rid of Reaves or Carrier. Those two do the most damage. Great point. Ron Hoffman. Stone, best player on the team.
B-plus
As a
player?
B-plus player. I know.
Troll
I
job.
can't wait.
That's all that is, a troll job.
I can't wait
It's
for him to have a
ridiculous.
whole season in Vegas, and hopefully he grows. And
Stone's one of the best players in
yeah,
the NHL.
they played so
man.
well in the international, the World Championships. All those guys. Theodore played well. Marcia played well. I'll be so sad if they trade Marshy.
No, I'd hate to see it, but I don't think
I'd
it's out of the realm of
wear my
possibility.
jersey proudly still as well. All right, done with Raiders. Last topic. Want to talk about the Aviators. Currently 34-28, but really the big story is that they've been selling out games left and right. Lead all of AAA baseball in attendance, and they beat the Tampa Bay Rays in attendance.
And the Marlins, I think.
Is it the Marlins as well?
Yeah.
This was posted in the RJ on the 6th. What's today? The 7th?
It is.
Through 29 home games, franchise leads minor league baseball in attendance among all 30 AAA teams. 276,957, an average of about 10,000 per game.
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
Let's say they built that exact stadium on the Cashman Field site.
Oh, boy.
Would attendance look like it looks?
Give me that.
Would the
hypothetical.
attendance
right now,
look
yes.
like it looks?
Right
Absolutely
now, yes.
not.
Yes.
Absolutely not.
No, it would.
Location. They are selling out these games because of where they're at. They're in a great area surrounded by shops, restaurants, bars, City National, Red Rock Casino. You can make an entire day out of going to a baseball game. That is why they are so successful. It has nothing to do with the fact that it's new. It has to do with where it's at. If you moved Cashman Field to Summerlin, you would still have good attendance out there.
So what do you say? So if it was 9,000 instead of 9,500, would that be close enough? Because I think that would be.
What did they average? What did the 51/stars average at Cashman Field?
I mean, last year I don't know, but over the course
Probably
of
4,500?
over the course of 30+ years, right? It was about 4,000, and
Right.
they'd always draw big on fireworks nights.
Right.
So I think I think it's just you have that new car smell, and that's what would get enough people down there.
I'm convinced
At least
it's
to this
the area.
point. 30
right now.
games. I think you can sell out 30 games in the first.
I don't
30
think
games.
there's any
Then
way
maybe
with a
it
new
tails off.
ballpark they would have sold out any of the
Disagree.
outside of the first game. Maybe the first home
Pointless
stand.
discussion, Matt. Pointless. But that's okay. It's for argument's sake. All right, let's check comments one more time, and then we'll get out of here. You guys can enjoy the rest of your Saturday. I'm going to enjoy the rest of the Saturday. Today's the 8th.
Today's the 8th.
Thanks, Tiffany.
Man.
And Ricardo, true about something, and I'm sure he was talking about something I said versus something
Is absolutely what I said, without question.
I'm working there.
Location is a big factor. Thank you, Ricardo.
Yeah, whatever.
There we go. I
But
win.
not through-
I win, John.
Through 30 years, yes. Through 30 games, no. Okay? I win that one.
Come on. Where would you rather go watch a ball game?
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Appreciate it. We'll make these things more consistent here. Again, graduate school. I have an excuse. I'm forwarding my service to the community, all right, by going to grad school and my family as well. But we'll try to be back here again maybe next week, maybe the week after that. It's summertime, so it's a little quiet. But, the big charity softball game. Wonder if you guys are going to that.
Yes.
You should chime in. And we should talk about the rosters. I want to get out of here, but I'm like, no, let's talk about that. No, the rosters. So the big heavy favorite has to be the Golden Knights here. I already picked it, and I'm trying to pull up the rosters.
I feel like
here
their
on my
team was
email.
stacked. I feel like that team
I
was
wouldn't say
stacked a little
stacked.
bit.
You think so?
Yeah,
I wouldn't say stacked, but
because the
it's just-
Raiders aren't quite here yet. I think maybe if they do this next year or the year after, when the Raiders are actually the Las Vegas Raiders, you're going to see a little more evenly matched teams
I need to
out
pull
there.
up my email. But on the Golden Knights team, you have the Golden Knights. And really, I don't know. I just, how much do the Raiders, I don't know. Those guys, do you think they're softballers? I know Vontez Burfict is, Arden Key is another guy from the Raiders. Marcus Allen's the main guy.
They definitely have the edge and power.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Can they hit a ball?
Can they hit the ball and can they go deep? That's the question. But either
Is
way,
it Canseco on the Golden Knights team?
Jose Canseco is
Come
the
on,
X
man.
factor. He's on the Golden Knights team.
You
Come on, he'll be out there
he's going to
trolling
hit
center
City
field.
National with
Yeah,
every single
right.
pitch. Come on.
At least he's going to try to.
No doubt.
And that one, again, that's next Saturday, week from today. And tickets are about sold out. So it benefits the Tyler Robinson Foundation, which, of course, is headed up by Dan Reynolds of Imagine Dragons. Reynolds is on the Golden Knights team. Good for him. He drove the event, so he can pretty much pick which team he's on. So that's good. But I think that'll
Funny
be
he
fun.
chose that one.
And that'll be interesting as well. I know I tweeted the roster, so you can check that out. But Marcia Show's playing. Carlson, I believe, is playing from the Golden Knights. Again, there's some big names. Derek England's playing as well. So if you're a Knights fan, I'd say find a way to get a ticket out there. I know there was some on the berm, 22
Knights
bucks.
got to have the edge, man. They're used to hitting. They got the sticks. They just just go upright.
That's what it is.
Just
I'm
go
like
upright.
looking for the reason that they would be favored, and of course it's just body movement. Carlson, Marcia Show, Halla, England, Ryan Reaves, Shea Theodore, Brendan Smith from the Rangers. Okay. Is playing.
Yeah, he's a buddy of
Anderson
theirs, I guess.
Hunt on the Golden Knights team.
Yeah.
He's a baller.
Yeah.
And then a couple names I don't know who they are. And then on the Raiders side, Rod Woodson, Trent Brown, Jonathan Abram. Is Abram current or is he retired? Jonathan Abram.
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah. Perfect. Maurice Hurst, Arden Key, Josh Jacobs. Be excited to see Josh.
They got the big boys out there, man. If they can make contact, forget about it.
And then they have Shane.
Ball's going to leave the yard.
They have Shane Victorino as well on the roster, so the local guy.
Yeah,
so
that's all right.
Victorino and Canseco, I feel like Victorino has the age edge, right? Because Canseco maybe has the power edge. I'd give the edge to Victorino, actually.
He's only been out of the league for, 4 years, maybe?
Yeah, not very long at all. Yeah. All right, that's it. Now we can wrap it
All
up.
right, get out of here, Tim.
Thanks, guys, for watching. Again, we'll be back here at some point. Rich Giacovino, appreciate it. Oh, Kim says sold out as of this morning.
There you
Kim
go.
got the tickets. That's awesome. Congratulations, Kim. We'll be out there covering it, so maybe we'll see you next time, at least from that charity softball event. For Rich Giacovino and Matt, I'm John. See you next time.
In life, just like in football, you need good hands to score. The Michael Westra Allstate Agency will carry you to success for every insurance need. Auto, business, home, life. Michael will personally see you get the best rates, and our full-service staff at 702-435-4211 will walk you through any claim, not refer you to an 800 number. For over 15 years, Michael has served charities in Las Vegas. He's ready to serve you at 702-435-4211, 702-435-4211.